In the top left-hand side, a complete and utter tit as the Red Protoss player from the Shopify Rebellion. This is Harstem. And the bottom right-hand side, our Blue Terran player from Team Liquid. This is Clem. Isn't my sound funny when listening through the hoodie? It's a pretty thin hoodie. It sounds fine. It's actually kind of nice because, like, when I'm a little bit tired, it means it's not as loud, and so it doesn't, like, blast my ears off as much. Alright, Clem Harstem best of 3 in the lower bracket round 2 of the WardiTV Winter Championship. Harstem defeating Armani to be here. Clem got roached by Solar 3 games in a row. So, yeah. Probe comes up. Has a little scout around, and just going to be seeing the, probably going to come in, nibble the SCV a little bit. Couple of SCVs coming around, probe coming in. CC is dropping into place. Just going to be seeing that Marine comes in, drops a probe, gets rid of that. Obviously, the CC gets to build without issue here to begin with, so nothing too wild to start. Curious Minds, short map. Be interesting to see what Harstem does to try and nullify any of the early Clem aggression, especially someone like Clem who's so micro-focused in his gameplay. He's so dangerous on maps like this because if he can get across the map quickly, hit you hard with units that he can make more effective than other players with the strength of his micro, yeah, then it's just really tough to beat the guy, you know, so... Clem, we'll see what he can do in this game number 1 of the best of 3. We'll see what Harstem tries to do against it. He's going to open Twilight. I do like that. And like I said, I think when you open Stargate on this map against Clem, you put yourself in that trouble zone of just like, how do you buy the time? How do you get enough done and all that kind of stuff? And, yeah, I'm just going to see this Reaper hopping up and kind of moving around, having a look to see just what's going on. There's that probe. That's going to get shut down. Another probe going to be shot down as well. So that's a couple of probies going to get shredded. But so far, so good. Probe facility coming in from Harstem. A couple extra probes on the way out. Stalker in production. And just going to be seeing our 3 racks all setting up. This was a factory, then the 3 racks, so it's not a super quick sim in combat shields, and you will have the Cyclone. And that's where, if Harstem had opened for Stargate, he would have actually been in a bit more trouble, because that Cyclone's obviously very good against Stargate units, and that combined with some initial Marines can make some scary pushes. Against the Blink, the Cyclone is not as good, and so the choice here from Harstem definitely works out nicely. He will go Robo before Blink, which means he's probably going to play aggressively, and with it being Blink already decided, that means potentially 4-gate Blink. It's very possible he does just stop on 3 and he plays a more aggressive 3-gate Blink style. But the Robo's up early, so it's going to be quick. I was going to say it's going to be a quick Prism, but he gets an Observer going. That's fine. Okay, I'm intrigued. Yeah, I mean, okay, sure. We just go for an Observer, and then we're just going to play 3-gate Blink and just go aggressive on the ground, perhaps. You can still get a Prism up after. Are we going to go Prism now? Just wondering what you get the Robo so quickly for. Maybe afraid of some kind of pressure he needs the Observer to deal with. Like maybe Cloaked Mines or so. Maybe Cloaked Banshees. There's the Prism now. So just goes Observer, then Prism. I mean, I guess he didn't need the Prism right away because it wouldn't have lined up anyway, right? I guess you usually go Observer first. I think I'm just I'm out-talking myself. I'm out-talking my logic. Because obviously Blink wouldn't have been done in time anyway. So, yeah, just going to get the Prism now and he will put some pressure on. Expanding later, this is a very kind of down the middle of the road build. You know, you're going to take your 3rd base about 5 minutes. It's not as late as a 4-gate Blink, which is about 6 minutes. And then your tech comes through a little bit before that as well. It's not as early as if you just go 2-gate Blink, where your 3rd would have already been down. As our Stalker's just going to be setting up down the bottom side. Prism coming through. And getting going. So a lot of Stalkers then getting set up as we do have an SCV taking a little bit of damage. Bunker is going to get shot down. SCV's coming through. Mule pulling forward. One Stalker gets picked up. Just gonna see another Stalker warp in beneath that prism. I mean, it's a good hold from Clem so far, but he needs to be careful not to go too far forward. He doesn't want to be giving up extra units for free, right? Just got to be a little bit careful around that. Harstem's now looking to try and ping up to the top side, or the bottom side. Actually went Robobait before the third, so that brings the third out to be a little bit later than what I was initially saying. So that's a little bit different to, like, you know, like I say, like what I just suggested. As these Stalkers still fighting over here and making a pretty good go of it for the moment. Observer actually gets scanned. That's really nice. Get rid of the high ground vision. Just make it harder to commit in with these units. I'm going to expend another stim. He has the Medivacs to heal this up, but they're starting to be low on energy. He gets a couple Stalkers out of it, so it's absolutely worthwhile. Does he get any more? Now, the Blink was back. The Cyclone went and locked on off to the side. It's just an Adept that was over there, as the otherwise Bioforce is just going to keep on rampaging through and barreling down across the map. Try to take down this army of Harstem. I mean, Harstem did good damage, though. You know, when you look at resources lost, it's about even. Clem's units have been beaten up and healed back up, so the Medivac energy is low. That's a resource to consider, because low Medivac heal energy now means Clem can't be as aggressive from this point on as well. So there are benefits to what Harstem has done, for sure. He's maintained a worker lead through this. The third base is about to be up, and he went for that faster Robo base, so he's already going to have the Extended Thermal Lance is coming online, so that's already getting started. The charge is about halfway through. I'm just going to be seeing the Bioforce stemming out over to the left as a probe gets chased down. That's going to get picked off, and a Sentry will be warping in as well. Stalker's blinking through, a couple of Marauders getting chased. One Medivac just going to lift a Marauder up and bring it along as well. I'm just going to be seeing the units of Harstem still chasing down the Medivacs, the Bio units, all this good stuff. Is just going to be seeing the Stalker, the Zealots continue to chase all the way across the map. Problem is, now has he gone too far? No Prism here to protect this Colossus, and I'm surprised Clem didn't die for the Colossus. It almost feels like he didn't quite believe, as he's just microing one Marauder back into the Medivac as well, by the way. Like, what the hell? Yeah, just microing one Marauder back into the Medivac repeatedly as we see Stalkers and Colossi coming through. The tank is going to be taken down. I mean, now it's two Colossi. It's not as easy for Clem to fight into this. Harstem still keeping position on the map. Tank will unsiege. Units are going to pull back a little bit. It's going to be seeing our CC sitting on the third base. There's a couple of Vikings coming through. Forge, extra gates, all of this coming into play. All of that continuing to set up as the Medivac brings a Cyclone to the low ground. Not looking to be defensive in the main anymore, and Harstem definitely scary at the moment. Customer attack coming through, just going to be seeing our extra gates, Forge, Temple Archives, all of that continuing in at the moment. Just keeping all of that up. Frank comes through, grabs a probe on the bottom side. The Prism drops a few Zealots off, and they're going to go chasing down the Cyclone as well. He just continue to rally out for the moment. A few Vikings rallying forward. Ghost Academy's about halfway done. Marauders and Marines just continuing up. 1-1 upgrades continuing on the Forges. Disruptor is in production. And the Archon going to be finishing in a few short moments as well. So that Archon just going to pop out. And again, rally in towards the center. Couple tanks just siege, and just going to be seeing our Dark Shrine building up on the side of Harstem, so getting that up and running. And, yeah, just a lot of getting established right now, a lot of getting built up. We have our Ghost coming through, our tank setting up. I have this Force of Harstem. I mean, the thing is, Clem's been on the defensive because he just kind of fell behind a little bit, and so Harstem's been able to kind of sit here and be the aggressor. As tanks on siege at an unfortunate time. I mean, he doesn't expend a stim, though, trying to chase anything down, so That's good. I mean, stims are kind of resources at this point as well, right? You've got medevacs to heal, but it's only 4 because you want to build Vikings. So you don't have endless heal, and you don't want to just be stimming every single time. As tanks continue to push forward, Marauders are coming into the front as well. Those Vikings continue to strike, and just a few Stalkers getting hit. We do have a Disruptor already going down. The Stalker's still being picked out, and just going to be having the Prism on the top side, and a little bit of trouble as well. We do have the Vikings not quite able to take that down, so it does survive. Oh, the Disruptor just clips the edge of a couple of Marauders. And just going to be seeing a little bit of counter harass. Only getting 4 SCVs, so nothing too crazy. As Clem sits down 13 workers, similar army supplies as well. And just going to be seeing the +2 attack upgrade coming in. And just going to be seeing the EMPs once again landing across the board on those Stalkers. Zealots are continuing up. A lot more Zealots coming in over on the right. And just going to be seeing the Vikings able to nab a Colossi one more time. I'm just going to be seeing the Bioforce out over the right side. Again, DTs continue to come into play. Scan goes down. They're going to get blasted, the Dark Templar. This Disruptor shot. Okay, not quite connecting just yet. Clem's got a lot of army supply, but lower economy, so he's really looking to get damage done here. He needs to keep having scans because these DTs will keep coming forwards. He EMPs that one, so saves himself a scan for the moment. That Pylon actually cancels 2 of the Stalkers that were warping in there as well. Things are a little bit chaotic here. Clem has so many tanks there, the big, kind of strongest part of this army. Does he get that Disruptor in time? No. He actually catches it after as a Ghost dies to the second Disruptor shot. The tank survives, that's the most important thing as well. As this tank count really is the one thing I think that's going to do wonders for Clem in this battle. Here we go. Tanks need to kind of target fire the Disruptors and the Colossus, I believe. We're going to land the Vikings too, man. The tech units in the back are getting demolished. And this Bioforce now shouldn't have as many issues because there's no Zealots, it's just Stalkers. That Disruptor, Clem knows he can get it, and he jumps for it. He gets it. Army supply still in Clem's favor. Pulling back away to the right. Reinforcements flying through the map. Vikings and all sorts. Well, don't need many more Vikings at this stage, and Clem recognizes that, and he's going to start building Liberators instead. So sets that up as an alternative. So something just a little bit different here as our Bioforce gets going. Bio back down to the south. They're just going to be seeing the 3-2 upgrades from Harstem on the way in. That'd be nice if he can get there, obviously, maintain an upgrade lead. He has had an attack upgrade advantage over Clem throughout this. Just going to be seeing a couple of Liberators sieging up already. Disruptor shot fires through. And the Bioforce pressing forward. Disruptor goes down. Immortal goes down. The other Disruptor goes down. Oh, this is a real issue. Stalkers continue to try and blink back. The Archon gets blown up and blasted once again. Again, Bioforce just backwards and forwards at the moment, just trying to find this next fight and see what exactly everyone wants to be getting up to. I mean, Clem's got to play so positionally. He's got to use the tanks. He's got to use the libs. As DT sneaks in, we've been seeing the DTs already be effective. Clem will not scan, not EMP. So this DT gets one tank looking for another. This time he EMPs it. Maybe just didn't realize it before. Clem's lost a few SCVs. Harstem's harassment is still ongoing. At least now Clem has 4 bases. He's going to kill a base of Harstem, and that might allow him to kind of chill out for a second, because this has just been non-stop for a while. So now he might actually be able to just sort of stop and say, right, I've got your base down, and with the base dead, like, it just gives him a bit of breathing room. Like, he's not under as much pressure to get as much done any longer. Bioforce comes through. The Pylon gets picked. Just going to pull back towards the right-hand side as just have the medevacs healing up a little bit, and the planetary up the right as well. Viking gets shot down. Just going to see the few units continuing to unload. And the DT just hanging out on the watchtower in the bottom left as well. So all of that just continuing to get going. And yeah, medevacs, marines, ghosts, +2 armor, all of that just continuing into play. As our medevac going to loop around the bottom left-hand corner of the map. See what it can get up to. We do have that one DT going to make its way in. Going to get scanned, killed. Nice little pick-off as well. Cannon gets a marine. Just going to be seeing the units still pressing out to the front. Clem keeping this action rolling for himself, keeping these fights happening. Disruptor shot will land just a little bit shy of the couple of Marauders. This Disruptor shot will land shy as well. And Clem's goal is that he doesn't need to push forward. He just needs to hold this position because it gives him the access he needs to this base to keep on denying it. Harstem's army is that army as well, which is good at kind of stopping Clem or slowing Clem down from moving forward, but that's all it's really good for. It's not great at kind of attacking into these tanks any longer, and that's something else that Clem knows, so he's just like, yeah, I don't need to go running, you know, further forward than this. I don't need to advance my position much further. Love that Harstem is still just warping in DTs and sending them to those siege tanks, by the way. I mean, that's fantastic play, because they've caused chaos. He's killed, the majority of tanks he's killed has been from DTs that have made their way forward there. Clem just finishes off that base. Harstem going to lose the Disruptor. I think there's going to be a little bit too much this time around. We actually grabbed that DT. It was on the edge of the scan radius that wasn't even really intended for the Dark Templar. This Disruptor shot denied. Clem just knows it's enough. He knew he was in space to do it. Yeah, Clem closes it out, but Harstem, you could see the opportunities he had. You could see that he had positions he could work with. Clem's just a little bit too freaking good, and he is going to be able to close out this stellar game number 1 of this best of 3. Left-hand side, the red Protoss player from the Shopify Rebellion, down a game, but put up a hell of a fight. Let's hope for more of the same. In game number 2, this is Harstem in the bottom left. His former teammate, before he left them, before Harstem left them, that is. Harstem was the one that changed teams. In the top right-hand side, Team Liquid's Clem is the blue Terran player. We get up, we get running. Game number 2 of this best of 3. And we see what comes out of this one over the next few months. See what's going to go down. Again, winner of this plays Nightmare in the next round of the lower brackets. And then just a reminder as well that we will continue through into all of the other matches, which are going to be, if I'm not mistaken, we go into Cura versus Ryung, Classic versus Max Packs, and the winner of that. Those are all live to be played today. All of those still coming up. And to keep you guys as up to date as possible on all the games, any schedule changes, but so far it looks like we're just on schedule and advancing as expected. It's always good to know. Schedules are good. I like schedules. Keeping people on schedule is nice. What do you say, Classic versus Max Packs? I did. I'll be coming up in a few best of 3's time in the lower bracket. Classic down there, losing to DNS. Max Packs losing a laser, ending up down in that lower bracket as well. It's a pretty stacked tournament. As it should be, $3,000 weekend event. You know, it's not like this is drawn out or dragged out over, you know, a huge amount of time. I mean, obviously, like, you know, the qualifiers and the bits before this get dragged out a little bit more, but this is just, you show up this weekend, you don't even have to play that long each day. You know, we've got schedules, the players are typically around for 2 hours or so at most, and $3,000 overall up for grabs. It's a $1,000 first place prize. Reaper hunting down our probe here, and Proby will fall, as now the Reaper actually gets into the main, and the Stalker will be ready in a second. The Chrono Boost obviously is very good to help out with that. And as away goes the Reaper out into the middle of the map. Reaper's like, hey, can I get in over here? Can I get in over there? No, not just yet. I'm just gonna see how Twilight Council is coming up in the main base. That will finish in a moment or two. Obviously, this Reaper wants to stick around as long as possible, try and pick up that information, try and see what you're up to. How committed are you to the units that you're building, for example? My vision isn't working. Hello? There you go. He has seen the Twilight Council, so that's obviously always a good start. And yeah, otherwise, it's a 1-1-1 setup at home, and even with the Twilight... okay, so he's going to go for a Raven to help him against the Stalkers, it seems. So yeah, he's going to set up for the Raven initially, then probably a Siege Tank off the factory as a follow-up. Just needs to wait a moment to afford the Raven. 200 gas is not something you just have lying around all of the time, so gotta work your way up to that. Gets the Raven going. The Raven in these scenarios obviously is pretty nice, because a lot of the time, the follow-ups to Blink, Raven is very good against Colossi, because you can Interference Matrix them. Raven is very good against Zealot Stalker, because you can anti-armor missile those, and all of that kind of stuff. It's also good defensively because if the Stalkers go across the map to be very aggressive, you can get the Raven either across the map yourself and you'll be very successful in mineral lines, dropping auto turrets, or the other side of things is you just use the Raven defensively as well, and it just has that very high power, short, auto turret is an investment, but if Stalkers blink in, it's worth putting the auto turret down, and it really denies that entirety of that blink a lot of the time, so yeah, Raven is actually a pretty good unit to have against the Blink Stalkers. The only thing you got to be cautious of is obviously just don't go flying it into the Blink Stalkers. It does need a little bit of babysitting, but, I mean, doesn't it always? It's just that kind of a unit. It's the same if it plays against Phoenix, but then it needs more babysitting, and even if you're babysitting and you've got it protected, it can still just die because the Phoenix don't care, and they'll just dive in, kill it, because it's worth losing a Phoenix to get rid of it, basically. And that's why Phoenix, or the Raven against Phoenix is not as popular, because even if you do your best, sometimes the Protoss will just get the kill on it, and then that's 200 gas down the drain, and the Protoss is pretty happy that your starport production was kind of just nullified. Hey, Rolling Thunder, thank you so much for the 20-month resub on the Prime. Your name just keeps popping up today. Thank you so much, mate. Appreciate it. Ripper and the Hellion then on the Watchtower will take a few shots, and the Stalker gets grenaded into range of the Reaper. Well, it's an early game unit. It's not crazy to keep alive at this point. It's not super, necessary, but just a little frustrating that Reaper gets killed off because of his own grenades. And like I said, it is actually just going to be the aggressive Raven here, so looking for some mineral lines. Oh, going to drop the next turret down. He gets all the low HP probes to make this 5 kills. Yeah, I like it. It kind of does keep the probes away a little longer as well. Maybe not as much as kind of force an entire other mineral line to move away, but I think to get the 4 extra kills in the end was actually completely fine rather than maybe dropping that on the natural instead. Well, just going to see Stimpack Combat Shield +1 attack is all about a finish from Clem, so he's now going to turn this into an attack on the 3rd base. And Harstem's preparations aren't ready yet. He's very greedy here. He went Double Forge. Double Forge is not something you see nowadays very often as, oh my god, the Wood, oh my god. Was that 7 more kills? It was. Oh my god, 10 more kills off 2 mine drops. Oh, this is bad. I was going to say, Double Forge isn't something you see every day, so then to take damage on top of Double Forge, it means this attack is going to be very difficult to hold, and Harstem has just been a little bit too greedy. He's going to die. Yeah, Double Forge is just very greedy, and you got to be very safe, very secure in these situations. Charge wasn't done, the upgrades weren't done, the timing was really good from Clem, on top of just having dealt the damage, and Clem gets the 2-0, gets to move through to the next round, and will be